One moment. Waiting notification. And boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning into a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have a magnificent guest with us tonight, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than the documentary king himself, Rick Mathis. How are you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on the show tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The honor is ours. On behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come give us some information. Let's see what you got going on. We're going to go into your history and how you got into making films, but we want to know, first of all, what's coming up tomorrow.
Man, first off, I just want to thank you, Joshua Muhammad, for sharing your platform and sharing this information with the Muslim community. Tomorrow, we have a sneak peek of B1, the movie. So B1 will be screening tomorrow at the Juneteenth Festival, right in Centennial Olympic Park, downtown Atlanta. So if you're in the city, if you're in the area, get in the car, drive down to downtown. And that's going to take place tomorrow at 8 p.m. So we're going to be in the park on stage 4 at 8 p.m. Stage 4 is right at the corner of Spring and Marietta Street, right on the side, right there where the CNN Center is.
Yes, sir. And for those, the reach is global. We thank everybody who's watching, but we have people who are watching all over the world. For those who aren't able to make it in person, we heard that you have a surprise for us today. I mean, people who can't come to it in Atlanta. Can you let us know? Can you share it with us?
Yeah, definitely, man. So in the film, we have a powerful scene that really highlights the Muslim community. And just to kind of set the stage for this particular scene, this particular episode, because one of the things we did with B1, the movie, is we produced it in episodes. So we have 5 episodes, each episode ranging between 10 minutes and probably about 24 minutes. So you can watch each episode or you can watch the film in its entirety. So in this particular episode, which is episode 3, it leads with the question, why do other races feel threatened when Black people talk about putting Black people first? But when we simply just talk about putting Black people first, why do other races feel threatened? That's the question.
Okay, yes, sir. Let's see it.
So with that being said, if I could share my screen here.
Yes, sir.
That being said, I want to optimize my sound if they allow me to do that. I don't know if they allow me to do that. They're not allowing me to optimize the sound here. But I will share the screen. Let me pull the screen up. Can you see my screen there?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right. And this is actually B1. Let's cue this up here. And we'll share it real quick. It's about a 2-minute scene. And definitely starts out with the minister. So that's the question. Let me know if you can hear the audio well enough.
So other races feel threatened.
Yes, sir. We can hear it. We can hear it.
Black people first. I think I heard Farrakhan say this.
You are afraid that if we ever come to power, we will do to you and your fathers what you and your people have done to us.
Just think about that. If America felt like Black people's gonna basically pay them back, get their lick back in a certain sense, that is scary.
Other races feel threatened because they think that we are going to do the same thing to them that they have done to us, period. We are just not made up like that.
So if I'm another ethnicity, I'm really scared. I'm really scared of Black men who can have babies that are 90.
In 1955, J. Edgar Hoover said that the #1 threat to America was Negro unity. They know that once we start to put ourselves first, our power is tremendous.
And I'm really scared of what they can do in populating the world and making the whole world Black, therefore a Black majority, therefore the whole world being under the auspice and rulership of Black power.
They fear Black power.
Mm,
They scared of us.
powerful, powerful. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And both of my sisters, Miriam and Naima, says, Peace, family. Thank you very much. Can't wait to put this on YouTube. Thank you for everyone who was watching all across the country. We want to make sure that we get the address one more time, sir, for the Juneteenth celebration tomorrow.
Man, we're at Centennial Olympic Park. That's downtown Atlanta at the corner of Spring and Marietta Street, right across from the CNN Center. Tomorrow, 8 p.m., we will be having a sneak peek of this film, B1, the movie, produced by myself and Dr. Boyce Watkins.
Excellent. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Well, for those of us who may not be familiar with the documentary King, how did you get that name, and how did you get into making films?
Man, you know what? I actually started out writing poetry. So back in the 90s, we used to go around to all the poetry spots, man, performing poetry. And from there, I started managing a lot of poets. I was responsible for putting a lot of the poets that's in the Atlanta market on HBO's Their Poetry. So I managed a lot of those poets, and one particular poet, shout out to Georgia Me, she went on Deaf Poetry on Broadway, went on to win a Tony Award, a Peabody Award, and an Emmy Award. They call that the trifecta. So that stage show, Deaf Poetry on Broadway, won those 3 awards, and the show was taken on the road internationally. And after that, I was like, well, what's the next thing? So after that, I started, I partnered with the Emmy Award winning filmmaker, and we produced a series called Poetry on Fire. And it's actually right over my shoulder, right there. If you see what's called Word, Poetry on Fire. And that was the first documentary that I produced, man. And from there, you know, we went on to produce several other documentaries. One of the more recent one that I'm producer of is one called Bowlegs, which highlights the life of the judge Marvin Arrington Sr., the judge, the president of Atlanta City Council, as well as the affluent attorney. Man, he did a lot for Atlanta, and he was really instrumental in helping Muhammad Ali to get his license back and bringing that fight to the city of Atlanta downtown at the Omni. So we just produced a film on him, Marvin Arrington Sr., called Bowlegs. You can check that out. And now we're coming with B1 the movie. You know, B1 the movie is a new baby that I'm most proud of, and you know, excited about releasing it. So that's how I started, you know, and got into filmmaking and calling myself the documentary king.
Yes, sir. Powerful, powerful, wonderful. And people are showing you love all across the country. My sister Miriam says she looks forward to watching them. My other sister Naima says that looks good. Looking forward to watching. Now, what I wanted to ask you, sir, is I see on the bio that you sent me that you've done some work with Malcolm Jamal Warner. How was that, and how did that come about?
Man, so we produced a film series called Black Friday. So I'm responsible for producing. I'm executive producer of Black Friday, and we got permission from Malcolm Jamal Warner, you know, to be featured in Black Friday, man. And he pretty much talked about, because Black Friday is a film that deals with economics. So he pretty much talked about how when he was young and he was on the Cosby Show, how his mom took care of his money and didn't let him just go rampant, spending his money and going broke. And she didn't spend it either. So it's like she put it in a fund for him, and she really, taught him the ropes. He said that, she would drag him into meetings, and he was, 12 years old or whatever. He's like, I don't really want to be in these meetings. Why are you bringing me into these meetings? So, he was young, man. And now he says, now that he's older, he appreciates, his mom for doing that, because that really taught him the ropes and taught him the business of show business.
Mm. Wonderful. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to upcoming filmmakers?
Man, so the advice that I would give to an upcoming filmmaker really is just study your craft, understand the people that came before you, such as, the Oscar Michels, you know what I'm saying, whom the Oscars is named after, the gold statue that you win when you have a critically acclaimed film. So,
Yes, sir.
really just study your craft and learn the ins and outs of filmmaking. Know how to do everything from pre-production, production, post-production, and distribution. Those are the 4 areas of filmmaking. So really learn that, you know what I'm saying, and become a student of that, and really stay on the cutting edge of new technology, because right now technology is constantly changing. And we use a lot of AI in this film, to produce this film. A lot of AI techniques, a lot of AI platforms, to produce this film. So really just stay up on technology, man, because technology now is really making filmmaking a whole lot easier. A whole lot easier. Like processes where it would take us literally a couple of hours to do, we can now do that in a couple of clicks. You know what I'm saying? We can do things like that when it comes to editing in a couple of clicks. So that's what I would say. Just really be a student of your craft.
Excellent advice. And could you expound on how AI assisted you with the editing? Like, could you give me an example?
So an example of what we're doing. So when you look at the film, we took a lot of original art, which was created by AI, and we put those in the film, as well as turning an image into what's called a PNG image. A PNG image, which basically means you're just removing the background from the image. So back in the day, in order to remove a background from an image, you would literally have to go around in Photoshop, cut out the image and then go between the hairs and go, so it was real tedious. But it's an art where, a skill set in filmmaking where, if you do that with your images, it gives a real clean, polished look. So with AI, we're able to do that now. And, to remove the background from images, you might find an image and you're like, man, I like the image, but I don't like the background. The background doesn't fit with the scene. So now you can go in and you can change that background out, or you can just use a black background, which is what I did in this film, is use the black background and just have those images popping on that black background.
Powerful. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. And thank you, everyone who's watching and continue to comment, like, share, and subscribe to the People's Podcast. All right. So, Rick Mathis, we have a quick 60-second commercial break, and then we have a few more questions for you, sir. 1 second. Can't wait to put this on YouTube. Thank you, everyone who continues to show love all across the country and around the world. 1 second. Okay. I don't know, of course, it's doing this right now. We'll try. Perfect. All right. I want to thank everyone. We're right back with you, sir. What we want to know is what has been your greatest trial in life and how have you overcome that trial?
Man. I would probably say, the death of my mom. I lost my mom I should say, well, she made a transition during the production of this film, B1. And as you'll see in the trailer, I think it's not in this trailer, the one I sent you, that's the 4-minute edit. But she made a transition during the middle of the production of this film. And so we gave a tribute to the ancestors. That's one of the ways that we start out with the film. And, overcoming that, I mean, it's a process every day, man, overcoming that. So, I dedicate everything that I do to her and the ancestors, my mom, my grandmother, you know what I'm saying? I'm standing on y'all shoulders and I want to make y'all proud. So that's the way that I'm overcoming it.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. That's great. What has been your greatest joy in life, sir?
Man, the greatest joy in life. Wow, that's a good one. I mean, probably just, producing films, man, because every time, I produce a film project, it's like, a new baby or a new child that's being brought into the world. So seeing that go from an idea to a tangible product or either several products, because with B1, we've repurposed B1 to have, we've created 5 products out of the film, so we have the film, we have the soundtrack, B1, the soundtrack, and then we have B1, the curriculum, because this film also has a curriculum that goes with the film. So we actually have exercises that you'll be able to do with the film after you watch the film. So for example, in episode 2, we really horn in on like media, so that's music, that's film, that's social media. We touch on those 3 topics in that particular episode. So one of the exercises focus on music. And what we do is we call it Stop the Music, where we actually stop the music or delete the music and just read the lyrics of the song that you're listening to. And then after reading it, you're journaling because it's a curriculum journal. So you're journaling, am I on code or am I off code by listening to this music? Because at the end of the day, B1 really is about being on code, because it's B1, which is Black first, but the subtitle is The Code of Blackness. So it's really about being on code, you know what I'm saying? So with being on code, thank you. So with being on code, that's what this is about. Every other group has a code of conduct that they operate under. And sometimes that code of conduct is spoken, sometimes it's unspoken. But they all know how to, boom, line up and get on code and respond to whatever situation is facing them. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at what happened with what's the guy name that killed Trayvon Martin? What was it? Zimmerman. So yeah, I couldn't think of his name. But if you look at that, like when that happened, he raised, if I'm correct, a couple of millions of dollars for his defense team. So that was instantly on code. You know what I'm saying? We got to support Zimmerman, whether he did it or not. We all know he did it. We all know he was wrong. You know what I'm saying? And he should be sitting in jail. But they were on code and they got behind him financially. And that may be what, the money that was used to pay whomever they had to pay off. You know what I mean? So, that's what I mean by getting on code. Like, it's time now with so much going on in the world right now. It's time for Black people to get on code. And it's time for us to restore order on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Because we know who we are. We are the real gods. We are the real rulers of this planet. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, we got to get on code with each other and we got to restore order, because right now it's crazy. Like I'm riding in the Uber earlier today, coming from Centennial Park, making sure, staging and all that is set for tomorrow. And I'm listening to a song on the radio, and what the lyrics that was being played on the radio, talking about sex and what you're going to do and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, man, like we really off cold, like we really, you know, and not to judge, but at the same time, just to put a mirror in your face and say, we really thinking and operating from our lower self. You know what I'm saying? Everything is sexual. Everything is that low bass beat vibration. You know what I'm saying? That low frequency vibration. So we really it's time for us to get on code, man. It's a new day. You know what I'm saying? We're in a
Yes,
new
sir. Well,
era right now. It's a new time. It's time for us to wake up and get on code, baby.
yes, sir. Well, speaking of being on code and the power of music, what is your favorite album of all time?
Man, goody ma. I'm from the A,
Okay,
Southwest.
yes, sir. So you want
know,
soul food? You want
Soul
soul food?
Food. Man,
Okay,
Soul
yes,
Food
sir.
is a classic album, man. That's my favorite album of all time, man. If you listen to that album today, it's timeless because a lot of what they're talking about in that album relates to this. And relates to what's going on today. And which is the reason why we decided to produce a soundtrack for the film. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
We produced a soundtrack for the film, man, and we got 16 songs on the record, you know what I'm saying, on the soundtrack, man. And we got some nice songs on there, man. And
Yes, sir.
and really, you know what I'm saying? The thing that I love about the soundtrack is the songs are primarily singing about love, Black love. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we used to sing about back in the day, man. Like the records was really about love. You know what I'm saying? It was about me loving somebody so much and how much I care about this person. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we really got to get back to, man. There's a nice scene in the film where this couple meets at the B1 conference, a couple years ago. And they come back to the speed dating because the B1 conference, which is coming up this year in October, is going to be here in Atlanta this year.
Okay.
The B1, it's the All Black National Convention, but we call it the B1 conference. But anyway, there's the speed dating. One of the things they have there is speed dating at night. So for like all the single people that are at the conference, you can come to the speed dating and you can maybe meet your next, your
All right
husband.
now. All right
You
now.
know what I'm saying? So, but the main thing is, you meet like-minded people, you meet people of your tribes, you know what I'm saying? So you have speed dating. So there was a couple that met. They didn't meet at the speed dating because one Jedediah, who's the male, and Keisha, the female. Jedediah was like, you go on the speed date and let me know how that work out for you. If that don't work out for you, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? It didn't work out for her. She hit him up. They end up going out on a date at the hotel that next night in one of the restaurants. And they say they sat and talked for 4 hours. You know what I'm saying? For 4 hours, man. And so we got some, so that storyline is weaved within the film, man. And we got some real nuances and scenes that's in the film, man. When you see it, it's going to be like, wow, like that's beautiful. That's powerful. You know what I'm saying? It's a real tearjerker, man.
Wonderful. Yes, sir. We look forward to it. People are showing you love all across the country, saying, yes, sir. Can't wait to see it. The soundtrack and the movie, do you have an actual release date to the movie and the soundtrack?
Yeah, so the movie will be released this summer, probably in August. You know what I'm saying? We're looking at some dates right now, but if you follow me at B1 the movie on Instagram, on TikTok, and any of those platforms, B1 the movie, then we'll be sharing information about that, as well as you can follow my personal page, Rick Mathis. That's RIC Mathis, MATHIS, on Facebook, on TikTok, and Instagram as well. So we'll be releasing information on that, and I definitely share that information with you as well, Joshua, so you can get it out to your tribe, man.
Absolutely. We look forward to it, sir. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the People's Podcast. Make sure everybody tomorrow at Centennial 8 p.m. stage 4, correct?
Yeah, stage 4. Yeah, the speaker
stage 4. Yes, sir. Let's make sure we support B1 the movie. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off of the People's Podcast. Thank you, sir, for coming on the People's Podcast.
Definitely. Thanks for having me, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And thank you all for watching. We're going to put this on YouTube right now.